Hey, but this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. If you're coming in for the first time, I thank you. If you've been consistently supporting me, I thank you as well. But on today's episode, I entitled this The Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel that takes place in the book of Genesis, Genesis chapter 11 to be exact. And there was one man, the great grandson of Noah, one man that had a vision. One man that had a vision that only he seen. He was a great king, and he was the son, the great grandson of Noah. But he had a great idea, and he wasn't not gonna let nobody stop him. He was a king, and let's get into it. This is the Tower of Babel with Zaccheus with another live word of the day. Now, it's mentioned that Nimrod in the book of Genesis, man, the grandson of Noah, remember Noah that built the ark? Well, generations later, there was a king named Nimrod. Nimrod, the son of Cush, therefore the great grandson of Noah, Nimrod was described as a king in the land of Shinar, Lower Metasnia. The Bible states he was a mighty hunter in opposition to the Lord, began to be mighty in the earth. Biblical and unbiblical traditions identified Nimrod as a ruler who had commissioned the construction of the Tower of Babel, and that identified led him his reputation as king who had been rebellious against God. Now, Nimrod was an arrogant, act like you know everything. You met people like that before, and just he's a great and mighty king of a land, and he just was wise. He was wise, but he did not follow God. He did not follow God fully. He just wanted to do his own thing. Now, according to the sources, there's no direct evidence that Nimrod was an actual historical person in any of the non-biblical historical records registered of the king list, or king, including any Mesopotamian ones who are considered older than the biblical record. Historians have failed to match Nimrod with any real historically attested figure or to find any historical logistics. So Nimrod, when I read the book of Genesis 11, they don't mention his name in the Bible. They don't mention the name Nimrod in the Bible. When I read the book of Genesis, chapter 11 to be exact. So Nimrod, with his people, came up with a vision, a plan to build a tower touching the heavens. To build a tower touching the heavens. And according to Genesis chapter 11, now the whole world had one language. Everybody spoke at that time, during those time, one language, one common speech. And he wanted to get started. So Nimrod wanted to get started on this project. He wanted to build a tower so high, touching the heavens. So high, touching the heavens. And he was going to do it. As the people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said that each, according to the scriptures, Genesis chapter 11, verses 3, they said each other, "Come, let us make a bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used bricks instead of stones, and they tear their mortar. They said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with tower that reaches the heavens, so that they may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth. And that was the plan. And then you started building the tower, building it, and they build it. And then it's like this: you have a project that you're working on, a project and a plan that you're working on. But God is not in this plan. You're working towards this plan. You're building this plan. You're building it. But you don't involve God. You don't pray about it. You don't ask God for guidance. You just lean on your own understanding and you do your own thing, building this tower, thinking that you're doing the right thing. But you're not praying and asking God if this is the right move for you to make. But you're just building and working towards this goal. It's like you moving to a city, but you didn't ask God for proper direction. Or it's like you trying to go for a career, but you didn't ask God for if this is the right and proper move for you to make. So you move and you lean on your own understanding, and you move with your own flesh. You move because this is what you think is right for you, not knowing that God has His hands on you, and not understanding that God has plans already that He already set and laid out for you. And layer after layer, brick stone after stone, they kept on building, kept on building. This plan was coming to fruition. They wanted to build it and continue building, and they had the manpower to do it, and they were not stopping. They continued, but you see, God was not in this plan. And as they built, everything just seemed right. Everything just seemed to be right into place. Um, and this was going to be a good thing because they could touch the heavens. And it just seems right. Have you ever worked at something, work towards a goal? It just seems right at the moment. It just seems right at the time. Nobody could tell you nothing. Nobody can say nothing to you because you know it all, and and you seem like you know what's best for this. You see like you know what's best, and no one can tell you anything because you have the right plan in your hand. You don't ask for any guidance. You don't ask. You don't pray for God for wisdom. You don't ask for any help. You do get the help, and people are going along with the plan because you're a leader. And as a leader, you direct the people where to go, the men where to go, and how to build, because you have the blueprint in your hand. And because you have this, you have this pride about yourself, and you're very proud about yourself. Nothing wrong with that, but you gotta humble yourself, and sometimes you gotta ask for help. Nothing wrong with asking for help and guidance, but many times we go ahead and we think it's the right move for us. Many times we think the decisions that we're making is correct, not knowing that that's not God's purpose in our life. And they built that tower so high, it looked like it was touching the sky, touching the sky. And you know what Nimrod and the men continued to do? Continue to build. People were looking in amazement that the goal and the ambition was actually coming to pass because it was building, and they continued to build it. Let's turn to that scripture. First Peter chapter 5, verse 6. All about humility. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at a proper time he may exalt you. So humble yourselves. Humble yourself and ask God for wisdom. Ask God for guidance. Nothing wrong with asking for help. God will show you, and he'll lead the way. Nothing wrong with asking for help. What should I do? Should I open this school? What should I do? I need guidance, God. Help me, Lord. I have an idea. Should I do this? Should I pick this career? Should I move to this city? Is it the proper time for me to move out the country? What should I do, God? Humble yourself. So when you put your hands in the Lord and put your plans in God's hands and you ask for guidance, He's gonna bless you because you're walking in His purpose. And when you ask for God for guidance, I pray for that every day. Lord, help me, guide me. So once you pray and humble yourself and ask God to show you the proper way, and so He can guide you and lay His purpose out for your life. Now, later on, I can be blessed because I'm walking in God's purpose. and you can, and you'll feel at place. There's no serious confusion, there's no disarray, there's no like misunderstanding, no mishaps, because you're walking in God's purpose in your life. Let's get back to the story now. The Lord came down to see the city and the tower of the people were building. The Lord said, if as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, and nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. So God has seen that they're building it, this tower so high to the sky, and come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other. So God, when God see that it was actually coming building up to the sky, and remember, God is not in this plan. So God said, okay, everybody speaks, and at that moment, at that time, everybody spoke the same language during those times, the same exact language, no different languages that you had to learn. So God said, you know what? This is the root. This story is the root of people speaking different languages and many languages. And God confused everyone. Everybody spoke a different language. So it confused, so they had no form of communication because they didn't understand each other. And the tower was not complete because remember, God was not in this plan. So God confused them, and everybody spoke a different language, didn't understand each other. This frustrated Nimrod, this frustrated all the people in the land because they couldn't communicate to build a tower. They didn't know what to do, what was next. If they couldn't understand each other, how they could continue building this tower if they couldn't communicate. This was very upsetting. So after, when people were frustrated and aggravated and didn't know what to do next, the project flopped. The tower was just left the way it is. All that hard work, because God was not in the plan, the project flopped. And it happens when you do not place, especially if you claim to be following God, and you don't put your plan, and you don't put God first before you do anything, and you don't put God first before your plans, and you just bust a move. That happened to me. I bust a move, and I don't put my and I didn't come to the Lord with this. It always seems to fall into a massive confusion. Always. Now the live word of the day is going to the Proverbs 11 verses 2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace. But when you humble yourself, comes wisdom. It's always good to take godly counseling. It's always good to hear what does say the Lord. It's always good to seek God before you make a move. Listen, I had to learn the hard way. When I started following God, I realized that when I make decisions and I don't pray, it's always turns into be a disaster. Always turns into be confusion or a catastrophe. But when I seek God, God opens me up, shows me red flags. This is not the right way to go. He directs me, and when I pray about it and I settle in my heart, then I know, okay, this is the right direction the Lord wants me to go. But when you jump and you don't ask God for wisdom and guidance, it's always disarray, always in confusion, and it's always confusion, and I wind up being a disgrace. But if I humble myself and ask God for wisdom and guidance and take godly counseling meaning that people that can, or some the God leader is someone that can say, listen, I have experience with this. I don't think this is the proper direction for you to go, or the proper city to you to move, or the proper career for you, or the proper business model that you should put your money into. God can give you many red flags, can even put people in your direction to talk to you and speak to you and to tell you this is not the right direction to go. And and sometimes you don't put people in your radar. Sometimes you pray about it and it's lifting your spirit. God said, listen, something about this is not right. something about this is not the right move to make. And so it's always wise to humble yourself and ask God for direction. But this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe out there. Peace and blessings. Until next time.